Welcome to the Militia Gaming community. I'm Trigger, and you guys have sent me so many builds. It's insane. I'm still making my way through them, although I'm also working on other projects as well. But I've got a bunch of builds today. We're going to go through the A+ builds and my top 15 so far. There's still a lot to go through, but top 15 A+ community builds coming at you. Let's go. Real quick before I get into the video, if you're an aspiring content creator who wants to learn from someone like me, I'm teaching everything I know over on a channel called Caliber Gaming. You guys can check that out. There's a link in the description, and I offer one-on-one channel full support. Whatever you need, questions-wise, I will answer them. I'm just trying to help other people become successful on YouTube. So that's what I'm doing over there. There's a link in the description, like I said. But anyway, let's go ahead and get into this video. So there was one important change that happened with the update, and it's going to affect builds going forward. And that is that you can change your car for every single race within a playlist, meaning you can have a different car for every single race. There's 3 races, 3 different cars. And what that means is you can build a car to be tailored specifically for short track or speed races, or to be just well-rounded if you don't want to switch cars. And so builds from me and from the community are going to have to be organized in that fashion: well-rounded, speed list, or short track. So for this particular video, we're going to talk about the top 15 in each of those categories. I'm going to show you the list, and then we're going to talk about the specific cars that I find to be very, very good builds. All right, let's talk about the least important build, and that's going to be the speed list or the speed tracks. These are the ones that are mostly straight on the highways. They don't really have any turns, or I don't know, they're boring races. So to me, it's the least important, but if you're gonna use a car to win a playlist, you may need to win a couple of these races. So here are the top 15 speed list builds, and keep in mind these are community builds, they're not mine at all. I've got the gamer tag listed right there next to the build, and I haven't tested all the builds you've sent me. There's lots to go through. This is just the top 15 right now. As you can see, we've got that Acura RSX at the very top of the list. On Skyline Sprint, it runs a 146.99, and it could be a little bit faster maybe if we got some lucky cop spawns in solo, but 146.99 is a killer time for that, and this is a specific speed track build. So the Acura RSX by Auprix, nice build, very, very well done. Right behind it though, we've got a 1999 GTR with a 148.55, also very, very fast. Anything under 150 I would consider to be pretty good. Anything over 150 is just meh. It just means that your car's probably suited better for short track than it is for speedless. So anyway, let's go ahead and move on to the short track rankings. The top 15 in short track look like this. The top spot being held by the Testarossa Coupe. This thing is absolutely insane. It's made by Absolute Graph 80. It is a ridiculous build. It runs a 146.73 on Drifter's Delight. It's a very, very good time, and I'm sure with a better driver behind the wheel, better than me, that time probably can come down. So that is a crazy time. You'll notice that it beats out second place by 2 seconds, and it's actually almost 4 seconds ahead of the BMW M1. And if you've tried the M1, it's a very fast short track build as well. So this is an absolute insane build by Absolute Graph. And second on the list is actually another Testarossa built by Zero. I'm actually going to be removing that off after I get to 20 because I don't want 2 of the same car on there. If we've got a faster Testarossa build, then that's the one that's going to be on the list. Let's say Zero's build was actually faster in the speed list. It's not, but if it was, then I would allow Zero's to stay on the speed list and I would remove Absolute off. I just want the fastest build for each of the cars that the community gives. All right, and lastly, let's move on to the most well-rounded. Now, at the top of the list is that same Testarossa build by Absolute Graph. This is, like I said, it's a ridiculous build. It runs a very, very good time on both Drifter's Delight and Skyline Sprint, which are my test courses for these builds. On Drifter's Delight, like I said, 146. On Skyline Sprint, a 150. So a car capable of running a 146 on Drifters is also capable of having a good top speed. This is maybe the most well-rounded car I've ever tested, and certainly the most well-rounded car in A+ right now Again, from the cars that I've tested. And then lastly, before we close this video out, I want you to know all of these builds are going to be made available to you. I'll have a link in the description where you can click, go to it, and see the builds right there. Also, I just want to shout out everybody on this community list. You guys have sent me tons of builds, and I will be getting around to all of them. It's just taking a lot of time. There's hundreds of builds that you've sent me, so I'm making my way through A+. I want to get a good top 20 together, and then I'll move on to a different genre. A+ has the most races out of any other tier in the game, so I'm working my way through that first because that seems to be the majority of the playlists that you play online is A+. Now a lot of people play S+ as well, so I'll probably hit that one second, but for right now I'm going to work through A+, and then I'll just be moving on to the next one. So anyway, thank you guys so much for sending builds. Remember, you can go to the website militiagamingco.com, go to the builds page, and submit your builds if you have them. I will catch you guys on the next one. Shout out to all the Heat 5 members of the channel. Trigger out.